meeting to order. First item would be citizens communication. Is there any citizens communication?
No.
No, great. All right, item 3A is discuss and consider action to approve the Equity Commission regular meeting minutes of March 11th.
I suppose I can second. I don't see anything. I think we've accounted for everything, right?
I think the changes we had talked about were to
Yeah.
the February meeting?
Or to the February.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Second?
Or are we still
A motion?
reviewing? I'm happy to
Oh, yeah.
pause if I'm rushing.
What am I needing, a second?
Oh, we're just seeing if you had anything.
Oh,
I didn't want to.
No, these were, no, thank you for sending to us ahead of time.
Yeah.
So do I have a motion?
I can second.
Second?
Okay, approved? All approved?
And you'll need to approve the February separately.
All right. So, yep, I think that's a separate item,
Mhm.
right? Discuss and consider action to approve the February 12th meeting minutes. And these are the ones that got updated.
The February 12th still has Nadia on it.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, that was a change.
Okay.
So do we have to
Okay. No, you
wait
could do it as amended.
as amended? Okay. Are there any other changes? Or are we good?
A motion that we approve the February 12th minutes as amended to remove Nadia Rudayasiri.
Great.
Second?
All right, all in favor? Aye?
Yeah.
Okay, approved. Awesome. Item 4A on the agenda is presentation from the Communications Department on marketing avenues. Flip Romero, Communications Director.
And team.
And team.
Team.
Howdy y'all, my name is Angelique Romite Duran. I'm a communications specialist for the Department of Communications for the City of Pflugerville. And today I'll be going over our communications strategy and plan for the 2024 year and ongoing. So first I want to meet the team. Our team is comprised of 5 departments who all compose a unison, and we work together to create content for the city of Pflugerville. We have 5 sections. Our communications division, which primarily focuses on social media and crisis communication. So, along with our creative services division, which is graphic design, videography, photography, all the fun stuff that you get to see on social media, and all our avenues of approach. Then we have our web division, which is our wonderful Tim Maloney, and he does our city website and our online presence. And then we have our tourism division, Explore Pflugerville, that just opened up recently with the rebrand, and encourages outside or external audiences to come to Pflugerville and visit Pflugerville. And then, last but not least, our Pflugerville TV, which shares the mayor's incentives and initiatives to the city of Pflugerville and beyond. Now, how do we create our story? Our story is first thought of 5 who, what, where, when, how, and why. What are we going to share to our audience that creates and crafts a message to each individual? So we have anywhere from a young audience who's on social media every day, to verbiage for an external or elder audience, to different cultures and brands and divisions, so we can all craft a message that focuses towards our mission at the city of Pflugerville, along with our strategic goals for the year. And then we have our messaging, which is clear and concise, so that way everyone who is looking at our brand can understand the messaging in a precise and clear way. Then we have our creative messaging through our visuals, which all comes from that creative services side, where we're seeing this photography, the videography, and how we show that to our external audiences. With those channels, we have our social media channels, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We have every Friday we release a key to the city, and the city gets news updates of what's happening for the week ahead. So what events are happening, what happened this past week, and what major events can we share with our residents to get messaging out. We also have Pflugerville TV, which shares the mirrors messaging, and our city website, along with other incentives and social channels for all of the divisions within the city of Pflugerville. So how do we use this communications plan to strive for an equitable future? That is sharing our messaging through continuous improvement through our digital initiatives, along with welcoming feedback to the community and ensuring that we're listening and hearing what they're saying, along with providing reasonable initiatives to say that we are dedicated to improving the messaging that we are geared towards. With that, we have an ongoing website initiative being dropped in October that we're excited to share with our audiences across our website. This will make our web design more accessible to those who view it, allowing for the delivery of a chat box GPT, where you can ask a question like, when is my trash going to be picked up? And it will tell you, go pull in through the website and say, oh, this is your trash delivery day, and it'll share that information, whether you put it in one language versus another language. Then we have our community events. We have Slice of Pflugerville that shares culture and initiatives through Parks and Rec that they host an abundance of events, including Deutsche Fest and many others, along with ensuring that our messages can be heard from diversity from different languages, and yeah. That concludes my presentation. Do y'all have any questions?
So this is not, I'm not doing an episode of Undercover Boss or not the intern. Actually was working EOC alongside Angelique all day today, where I'm handling communications for the Eclipse. So we also practice in terms of our department and our culture is all about participatory leadership. And also each and every one of us stepping out on the call and making sure we're all have the same message, which is thank you. So Angelique, thank you for presenting our team goals and commitments. We're literally a brand new team. I think Roger, who's our wonderful assistant director, and myself, we're talking about this earlier today. I think we're now the longest tenured staff on the communications department. I think a year and some change.
Year and 3 months.
A year and 3 months. I'm here, I'm going on my 8th month. And we're just completely excited. I know I joined the city of Pflugerville in August of last year and was just blown away on the opportunities available here, and also on all the unique methods that everything that we do to communicate on different platforms, and also where we're going, right, in terms of our leadership and our wonderful city council. And what we're trying to do is also address the needs of the community, also with the diverse nature of our culture. So we're interested in working with our finance department and other departments like the library in terms of getting what other resources we could do are available in terms of connecting with our community, especially in different languages. We know our top 3 languages, English, Vietnamese, and Spanish. And we have 2 members on the staff right now that are also fluent speakers in Spanish. And we're looking to expand from that. We're now starting to do our messaging, especially press releases. We're starting to now do it in English and in Spanish. And we're focusing on seeing what other things we could do to share our communication through different means and methods. And with that, I want to open it up to you all, if you have any questions for us.
I have 2. The first one on the chat bot, is that going to be in multiple languages or is that English?
Multiple
yeah,
languages,
yep.
yes. We're probing in terms of using technology, which is available, to make sure that we have a bot that's able to answer questions in multiple languages. Our website actually in Civic Plus, it's going to go launch, the revamp launches in October. That's going to be able to translate our website into different languages as well.
So it'll have like a link or a button?
Yeah, like down below to the right, you can select the language that you want to view in, so we're really excited about that.
Awesome.
And due to AI, it can translate it, with the push of a button, and so it can be customized for any language, really. So that's kind of exciting.
And I imagine there's going to be like a lot of comms about the website itself. There's going to be a lot of comms coming to promote the new website in October.
Oh, absolutely.
for the
Yes,
public.
as we get closer to it, right now we're actually doing the migration. We're about to start the migration from the old website to the new one. And yeah, there will be a lot of messages going out strategically to get out there to the community, and also a way up to finding information, right? That's the biggest challenge on any government website that you see. I don't care where you are, it's the labyrinth of information that we have to be and finding the information, right? It's user friendly. That's what we're really excited in exploring, what we could do with technology now, with AI. And also the chatbot, where we're looking into a system that also is available to do text messaging as well, right? So say, I'm interested in knowing in Spanish, right? When is my next trash pickup? You can send a message in Spanish, and guess what? It'll respond in Spanish as well on your phone. So that's a cool feature. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, do most of you like us on social media?
Yep.
Subscribe to
I
our
know how
e-news
people on
blast?
Instagram.
Yep.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. Because, yeah, I always tell residents you'll never miss a beat what's going on in the city if you subscribe to our key newsletter. It goes out every Friday. And then, of course, our social media channels back all that information up. So it's good to hear that you're all actually signed up for it. And
Yep.
every now and again, the community will hear, oh, we didn't know about that. And it's like, oh, did you sign up for our e-newsletter? Do you like us on social media? No, I didn't. And we try and get people to sign up. But,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good to hear.
My second question, early on in the presentation, it talked about like crisis, I think it was the word crisis or emergency communications.
Yes, ma'am.
And I guess my question is like, if there were a public safety incident or something that that the city wanted to get communications out to the public, like how does that work? Is that the police department that pushes that? Do they work with you all and you all push that out? Like what is
We
there a
work
protocol?
actually together, but the messages come out of our office, or our communications department, yes.
And do you work closely with the police department in terms of their social media? So,
Yes,
We do.
okay.
yeah, we actually manage their page as well.
We go to their citizens on patrol, so.
Oh, yeah. We did a video highlight on them recently, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we're on call PIO between Flip and myself. We're on call for media 24/7 for PD.
That's a part of our, that's our public information officer, and they work alongside with our police department and in conjunction with our communications department.
And then have you all signed up for our Pflugerville emergency alerts?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good. That's awesome.
Yep.
Oh, you need to sign up for it. Yeah, if you just go to /PF alerts, it'll go straight to that URL. And anything that goes down in the city weather-wise, road-wise, or whatever, you'll get a text.
Oh, I think
And
I
if we
stopped
select
that
a phone
one.
call, it'll actually,
I did that
we want your email address. No, I'm kidding. We don't share, nor do we sell email. No, it's Civic Plus Emergency Communications Platform, and so you can customize the messages that you want to get, and the ones that you don't want to get, you don't have to click on that particular box. But a lot of residents find it very useful because we pretty much get that information out on a dime. Like literally, once it's solidified and we know about it, we can go to any computer and blast that message out to anybody who subscribes, and we're really excited. Our last message system that we moved from, we felt like the list was so old, we didn't know if people were active or not, and with this new Civic Plus PF alerts, we were able to scrub the list and have a legit, and we've built the list even bigger than it was before. So I think, what are we at, Flip, like a 10, 15?
I think that's that.
Oh, we're already at 21,000.
Yeah, 21, and it's growing by leaps and bounds.
Okay.
But you just go pflugervilletx.gov/PF alerts. You can sign up for it. I know I'm doing shameless plugs. I'm like, have you signed up for this? Have you signed up for that? And
I'm in marketing too.
yeah.
You can tell who's the marketing guy, right?
And so we have these listening sessions coming up, right? And how would you propose that we get the word out about those? Or I think some channels are probably more appropriate, like social maybe, and maybe even like leaflets of handing out things. I've been working with the Circle of Hope food kitchen, and we're thinking about hosting a session there. And so, like, what would your kind of plan be for promotion of
Yeah, I
something
can
like
speak
that?
to that because Brianna already got me the information about the program.
We can both speak to that, but I'll just.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Flip, then you go. Okay. Yeah, Brianna got us the information. We have the months down. We just need to get the dates locked in. We plan to do a full court press on it. We're going to do social, print, name it, whatever we have at our disposal. We're going to get the information out about those meetings. Obviously, our goal is to get as many people to you all as possible. But yeah, we're already working on that. Brianna got to us like, gosh, almost a month ago, early. So we're already working on those communications and a strategy. So everything that you heard Angelique talk about, we plan on putting it in all those marketing channels. It'll be an e-blast. It'll be social behind it. We may even want to look at doing some 30-second promotional videos of folks, residents, inviting other residents. Hey, come take part in this. It's very important. We've been very effective at, like, That's My Pflugerville video program, which you've all probably seen, is getting like peer recruit people. If a resident says something, people listen. It seems like they listen and then they'll share it because they're a part of the video.
I like
So
your
think
city
that's
staff stories, by the way.
Yeah.
Those are pretty good.
The what one? I'm sorry.
City staff stories, like.
Oh yeah.
Those are pretty good. So I'll be hosting the first 2 sessions in May.
Oh,
so I will probably be in touch through Jennifer here. So
Awesome.
just note that. And yeah, we'll get something together. So I'm thinking about 2 sessions in May. So
Yeah. We just need your all's dates.
yep.
We do.
I need dates from Circle of Hope too.
Yeah.
We're working on that.
One of the biggest things that, we do have really good, and we've done a great job previously, before me and Roger got here. City has done a great job of establishing some platforms. What I'm interested in, along with Roger and the team now, is expanding on those platforms. And what are some other ways that we can engage community? I'm a strong advocate. I'm a community engagement practitioner at heart. I have over 15 years experience, starting from Austin, passing the first $1 billion bond, to going down to the border and communicating messages down there, which is here. And all leads to one thing. And what I always preaches about is an informed community makes informed decisions. Well, how do you do that, right? It starts with going with people. People are in 2 areas. With high-tech opportunities, which is the ones that we discussed, which is the quote-unquote sexy ones, and also the high-touch opportunities. Going out to events, going where they are, getting an invitation. The city has a strong engagement process with I don't know if you heard of the Conversation Corps, which is I was one of the early pioneers. where it's like this, convenience like this, where we're talking about services about, hey, you let us know, we'll set it up, do the legwork, set up a meeting, we'll go out there and talk.
Okay.
Right, so just like that, there's probably a neighborhood association, there is a PTA meeting somewhere, there's.
I work with a bunch of charities, so.
Yeah, nonprofit service
Yeah,
clubs.
Exactly.
Got a lot of
If
nonprofit
it's something
contacts,
that, and also that it's worth in terms of us getting the message out, that's something that we are working to strive for and expanding our network of how our spectrum, right, and how we can connect with the community. Because it's one thing, yeah, we'll send it up on social media, we'll post it, yes, that does check one box, but for me, it's also making sure that we're also in the areas where people don't get the message, right? In Brownsville, talking about low tech, and there was COVID messages was the most, what was the most important thing to get our senior citizens vaccinated, right? We actually put a speaker box behind a truck, started driving around neighborhoods to get the message. I don't think we gotta go that
can, if you
extreme,
want.
but you can to that extreme, right? We're talking about the lowest, one of the lowest connected communities in terms of internet in the nation, to probably one of the highest, right? So there's a different mindset there, but what I'm trying to drive home is that we're constantly trying to see what are different ways that we can connect with the Pflugerville community, and that's something that we want to expand on.
Well, one of the things I was noticing on the website is that it seems that the city itself is involved in different initiatives related to legislative priorities and things that are going on, but there doesn't seem to be, I guess, reciprocal kind of action in involving the community to participate in those type of activities. Especially, with just the low civic engagement in general, whether it's from voting to knowing what a particular bond initiative really means for our community and things that show up on the ballot. How are y'all helping to communicate that to this community in Pflugerville to ensure that we are properly engaged?
Dr. Miller, that's a fantastic question. Normally, those initiatives are led by PACs across the city. If it's something that is of interest of the city council, would have to be something that's passed by them during an actual vote.
Oh, so even for organizations that the city is a member of, it was one on there, something, a council of city governments. Let me go back and look.
Okay.
I help with our legislative priorities and stuff, so that's fine. So, our legislative priorities, where we're active with Congress, Brianna, where we're active in Congress, where we have our legislative agenda. Those are, the legislative agenda is prepared by council. The legislative agenda is items that council will go to Austin, to Congress, and say, hey, these things impact us, we're for this, we're against this. And so our website does track our progress in those efforts. What resolutions we've passed, what resolutions we've supported, things like that. Some of the work happens behind the scenes because maybe council's testifying, that's not something we really push on social media. There hasn't been an ask for that, but maybe in the future there will be one. In terms of communicating out about bonds, when it comes to a bond that the city has, we have to be careful in the language that we use because we never want it to look like we're telling you to vote for something. So it may seem like on a ballot language is confusing what that ballot language looks like. Oftentimes it's because of how state law requires that ballot language to look like. And because we have to be careful that we're not making it seem like we're pushing for a yes or no vote on something, we can't really, as a city, say, well, this ballot is asking you to vote on this, or that. As a city council member can tell you that individually, but as a city, our comms team has to be really careful about what they say because they don't want it to appear like we're supporting one thing or the other.
Yeah, and one of the things that we
I
have.
understand that aspect of it because I work for state government. Same position, right? You can't advocate
for it.
one way politically. I'm asking more about informing citizens about whatever it is that we are doing and keeping them engaged. That doesn't preclude civic engagement, and making sure that it's communicated, not social even, not just social, but website. Actually, and I can't even find it again, but it was an organization that the city belonged to,
Well, she's looking.
that was for advocacy. So it's just a really, what are those things that are done?
The capital area governance and council CapCog is something that we can have a council member on the board of. We're actually looking at finding a way to provide an update on what that board has been doing. But that is an area, CapCog is just a group of different local councils and local governments. Each can have a representative. We have a representative on that board. We also have a representative on CAN, which is the Central something network, area network. I don't remember the C. We have a council member on that as well. Those efforts, I know they're working on coming up with a creative way to provide an update on that. We've been in talks with CapCog for that for a future luncheon.
Yeah, and one of the things that we have launched that's new is we launched a show called Be in the Know H2O. It's a video, and that was bond elected by the residents. And so what we're trying to do on a monthly basis is show the progress of the water plants, the main pipeline that they're working on now to show that we're going to be resilient for the next 50 years. So we have looked at CIP projects and put them into kind of really glossy videos that are short, that have a particular brand. We're doing constant updates now for Kelly Lane Phase 2. That also was a bond project. So what we're trying to do now is take those big bond projects and trying to show residents, you voted for it, here's how we're delivering. You voted for it, here's how we're delivering. And we're doing that in the forms of 30-second to 1-minute video updates on a regular interval. And you're going to see we're going to start doing that more and more as well. As bond election and projects go online, we're working directly with CIP now. So you're going to see a lot more videos and a lot more information coming your way. Sometimes we think we're spamming people, but we're trying to do it in a way that is a video that's kind of fun to watch, that's creative. Because like you were saying, we can get the information out. The real challenge is getting people to pay attention and absorb that information. So instead of just doing like a post that's just a graphic update for Kelly Lane, we went out and we flew drone footage over it so residents can see in real time. And then we've done what we call a fast motion video progress, where it kind of shows here's where it was, this is middle of the road, here's where it's at now. And we kind of did the same thing with Kelly Lane as well. And then in those videos, we always try and make it a point to talk about like, what is that next step? Here's what we've done on Kelly Lane, what does Phase 3 look like? So we are slowly but surely ramping up our communications for CIP projects, particularly bond projects, because we do. Yeah, and you're right. To get residents to be involved in government is always our challenge. So we're trying to always think of something creative that'll get people to notice, be maybe a little bit entertained, but they also just got updated on a certain bond project. Like our Nessie campaign, you probably saw that, the Loch Ness Monster at Lake Pflugerville. All that was designed to get people's attention on social, but then we threw in educational pieces about city services. So while people were paying attention, we had a segment on the library, we had a segment on pause, we had a segment on, kind of the list goes on and on. But we try and do something creative, get people to look at social media. I like to think I came from City of Round Rock, just because we're a city doesn't mean our communications have to look like that. We try and do things creative and out of the box so people will actually pay attention to us. But that's all part of reaching the community in a different way. But yeah, so we are currently doing bond update videos, and we're just going to amp that up from here on out. And we usually include those videos in our e-blast on Fridays. It's on social, and then the top ones actually go into our utility bill flyer as well. That goes into all of our utility bills. And then of course it's front and center on social. But yeah, we understand. You're completely right, ma'am. That's the challenge. How do you get people to pay attention?
It's Texas Municipal League. It says
TMI.
Our Decisions campaign. If that's something the city is doing and needs support on, it would seem. I don't think that's political party lines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was just curious.
Maybe we need a show, legislative update.
Do you guys,
Another creative show.
how far in advance do you plan your content calendar? Like, are you just kind of rolling with it right now, or you kind of got something planned?
We used
for-
to roll with it, now we're
Okay.
actually,
Yeah, I understand rolling with it.
we're actually planning on going 6 months out. 6 months
Okay.
out.
Cool.
Yeah, it's depending on how we can get the information and start planning accordingly. So, yeah, we do have, we're working on expanding our editorial calendar, especially to promote energy products. But yes, the standard practice is going 6 months.
Cool.
Months out.
Yeah, then you have to constantly be aware of that too, because things can change. So as things are posting throughout the day, those of you who've done social media on multiple platforms, we always have to be on our toes, because a message that resonated 3 or 4 weeks ago may not resonate as well as it does today, so.
My question, going back to the comment you made about, the range of tech to gear communication channels to. I'm curious about something like WhatsApp. Like, I know I'm part of groups that are more like predominantly Spanish speaking that seem to have adopted WhatsApp. I don't know if they're using other social
It's a huge
channels,
deal. Not only with the Hispanic culture, actually with all
like international.
international cultures. I talk to, I'm a first generation, so my parents or my family's all in Mexico, right? So the way I communicate is WhatsApp. It's like it's a thing, it's a phenomenon. And in fact, on the border, I would say probably 90 to 95% of the community, they talk to WhatsApp. So one of the cool things about one of the technologies that we're seeking to put into our budget for this year is a technology that it does tap into the WhatsApp, so we are able to have like a Pflugerville WhatsApp channel in terms of getting messages out.
Awesome, that would be great, because I was kind of
Huge.
surprised, I didn't realize
We
it was
tapped
such a
into
big.
that in the border, and it was a huge success.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
we would probably be one of the pioneers to do that in this area. So
Oh, I look forward to hearing about it when that happens.
What about LinkedIn and Instagram?
LinkedIn, we are expanding now. We're actually been working on a content strategy to communicate more on LinkedIn. Not only that we're hiring, but also what are we doing in terms of economic development? What are we doing? What are events are coming up? We're trying to expand the process and also get like our biggest promoters. Are it's different. I hate to say it. I don't have that many followers on LinkedIn, but Serena probably has. She probably has 20,000 followers. So if she likes a city post, it expands and it gets the word out there. So that's a big way. LinkedIn is a just tremendous tool on the professional side of networking to really get the word out on what Pflugerville is doing. On Instagram, we're also expanding.
Younger people?
Tapping into Reels. We were just talking about that earlier today, right? In terms of TikTok and Reels, and I used to be big on TikTok at home, right? Just personal watching it. Now I'm by myself. Now I'm looking more into Reels. They really copycatted a lot of the. They're able. They're just a bohemian. Meta is just able to copy that, and so we're looking into a lot more programming and doing Reels on Instagram, more picture focused. In terms of connecting with a different dynamic of community. One of the top demographics that we have here in Pflugerville are millennials. Well, how do we tap into that market? How do we get them involved in civic engagement, to your point? How do we get them involved? How do we get them to participate in our meetings? And that's a big part of it, is doing communications that connect with that. Right? Even we're looking at different things, different programming, different, starting podcasts, because what we find with millennials, is that they like to listen to things. Don't tell me go to this meeting. I'd rather do it in my time, right? So while I'm going to work, while I'm working out, let me listen to a city council meeting, or let me listen to a podcast that talks about all the things that Pflugerville's doing. Maybe coffee with the mayor, something that we can do, or talks with the chief. How do we do different types of programming that connect with different demographics and audiences? Those are the things that we're starting to tap into. That we're working on. We're about to launch also in October a revamp of our public access channel. Why? Because we're realized like it's no longer, if you go to a public access channel, they always put you in like the 3000s, right? Like some number where like, wow, I don't even get that far. But what we're doing now is our new public access channel is going to be able to be, it's going to be an app, it's going to be on Roku, it's going to be on your Fire Stick, it's going to be on YouTube. So there's different avenues for you to go and watch the information that we're having. And it's a difference, right? If I tell somebody, let's just be honest, oh, go watch the city council meeting, and then ours, tend to go to what, the average 10, 11 o'clock at night. I don't think an average person is going to listen to that, right? But how do we extract that information and make it into something that's digestible? So we're looking at being the No H2O is a way of expanding our programming. We're also working on something called PF Insider, which is going to be like the dirty jobs, where Roger doesn't know, but he's going to be attacked by dogs.
We're developing it now. Yeah.
Is it being,
Yeah.
sewers? No, I'm teasing.
Yeah.
But we're
No,
working
we are
on
going to do a
different
segment
ways.
about that, but
But we're working on different ways of engaging our audience to catch their attention so they can listen to what we have to offer, similar to what we did with the
and the tagline for that is frontline work, heart of the city. And we want to show residents, all of our frontline workers that work day in and day out, to show what really moves and shakes our city. I think a lot of residents, they've never been able to see that platform. The guys that are going out and doing our road enhancements, to changing the oil in every fleet vehicle of the city, those type of things. We're going to take the unsung heroes and the real movers and shakers of the city and put them into a platform where residents can see what they really do. And with that whole messaging is here is kind of what you're paying for, and we have so much work that goes down on the ground, so much work that is being done to make the city what it is today. A lot of our residents don't know about that. It's another way that we can reach residents. This is what you're getting for your value. You all have no idea how many guys go to the we call our groundwater plant and have to clean out the grids and to make sure that the water's flowing, to make sure that you have clean water, that kind of thing. So you can tell I'm excited about that.
The challenging thing with all this is the information is there seems to be so many different avenues to get information out. There's so many ways, but there's also a limited amount of time. Why is TikTok a phenomenon? Why do people like it? Because they like to get their things. If I can't get your attention in 10 seconds, I'll just flip the screen or keep moving on, keep scrolling. And that's the challenge, right? It's kind of like it's a moving target. We're trying to see what are the ways that we can get your attention, to get you to pay attention, to get you to know more about the bond, to get you more involved, to get you to realize why it's so important to vote. It's a moving target. And that's the challenge now with information, that you can go and get it anywhere. So what we want to do is be good stewards of that information and make sure that it's digestible and it connects with our different communities that we have here in Pflugerville. And we're learning as we speak, right? There's always technology, there's always things that we're doing. And sometimes you got to go low tech. Sometimes it's as simple as going and speaking in your local church to inform the community on what's going on, right? So there's different ways, there's different techniques. But yeah, that's what makes it fun for us, is right. It's like looking at that moving target and seeing how we can connect. I was this morning listening to a podcast on the phenomenon, our Generation Alpha and their need for beauty cosmetics. They're like 14-year-old spending like $200 worth of face products. It's crazy.
The other thing we're experimenting with too is you've probably seen we've done a lot more vertical video lately too, because we've been running tests. We can do a 2-minute glossy video to talk about a certain subject matter at the city. We can do that same production with a vertical camera on a phone, make it look a little edgy, and suddenly we get 60% more people watching that than we do a glossy video. So what we do now is anything that we shoot wide formal, and then we do another version of it in vertical that is the same information, just quicker and a little more edgy looking. And so our video guy, poor Wade, he's like, all those years we've been producing these glossy videos, but we do something that is archaic and primitive, and we get 5,000 views. of the same video when they could have watched the nice glossy one and got even more information.
It's hard to
But-
push the play button.
Yeah, so we have to constantly be on our toes. How do we present information quick?
Pushing the play buttons.
Because like when it comes to like the surface water plant upgrade, there's a lot we can talk about, but we'll do something, 30 seconds. This is happening, that's happening, this happening, take a look.
And that all comes with.
But it's
story-
fun, it's challenging, yeah.
That comes with storytelling. So yeah, we can say that Reels and TikTok and that's what they want to see. But it also comes with how you relay the message. And right now he's talking about millennial. Like right now, what I've noticed in trending, because I'm obviously strategic in this, is that it's not just like you posting a video. It's kind of, they want to hear your day in and day out. So they want to see you get ready in the morning, how you put your makeup on, and go to work. They want the beginning to end because they'll listen longer. So right now, do you get the 10-second like in your face and you'll keep watching, or you want to hear the story like the podcast and you actually hearing the whole video the whole day of the life? And so that's how we connect our residents and in the community, is sharing those stories that are happening in the community and bringing them out on our platforms.
And then the whole, yeah.
So back to our sessions, how much lead time do we need in order to get you our date and our location?
We need it as soon as possible.
Yes.
The earlier you get it to us, the more promotion we can do.
Yep.
Because we have, like I said, our calendars are starting to be locked and loaded ahead of time. Not to say that we won't make room for it, obviously we will, but the quicker you can lock in those dates and get us that basic information, we can lock it into our Facebook calendars and our social calendars. And I know you're all working on it, and I know it's quite a series of meetings, so, but the key will be to promote some promotions where you give everybody all the meetings, here's all your opportunities, and then,
It's
yeah.
the obvious here, right, is the better you plan for it, the more
Yeah.
exposure you get out there. We can do, every now and then we can do the bat signal and do like a 24 to 48 hour turnaround, but it's really bad for my cholesterol.
Nobody likes that.
Our stress eating.
yeah, exactly,
We share a picture.
yeah.
I am an emotional stress eater. No, all jokes aside, that's awesome, and we're really glad that you all reached out, because this is important to us.
Yeah.
This is our bread and butter, this is what we do every day. And the cool thing is that we'll go back to the drawing board, all right, this is coming up, how do we do it, how do we connect, how do we express our message in different ways, so.
Yeah, so, case in point, we get it early enough, or can we do a series of 10-second videos? Do we have time to be able to have one of you say, hey, I'm part of the Equity Commission, and we have something coming up that's extremely excited, we want you to be a part of it as well, and then you put that on your social medias too, and that's what we've noticed, is our messages get amplified because we're using more residents in videos. That's my Pflugerville. So that was the whole reason why it was designed. People can learn about city services, but it's residents talking about it, not us. And then they share it because they're on TV, they're on social, and so we increase the reach that way. But
And I will get you those dates.
just know if we don't get it in the next couple weeks, we're all gaining 20 pounds.
Oh no, it's
And stress, so
I
yeah.
want to nail it down this week. I'm so adamant. Yeah.
Any other questions?
No question. I guess my only final comment, and you kind of said it, right? Like the low tech sometimes, like all of these like high tech channels, like I get it because like I listen to podcasts, like I don't do reels that much, but I'll click on those too, right? And so you're right. Like I think those are very effective, but I think there's also another side to that we gravitate to like our preferred view or our preferred channel, and we kind of maybe close ourselves off to other views that maybe we should listen to, which some would argue that's why there's this trend away from people being willing to compromise with each other to get things done, right? And I don't think that's any different at the national, state, or even city level. So I think I would ask, let's not lose sight of the like in-person opportunities. Listening sessions aside, we know those will be in person, but on other things, like it's a lot harder to like take extremes and not be willing to listen and talk civilly and get to maybe compromise positions when you have to talk to people eyeball to eyeball, right? So I guess I love all the high tech, but I think we need to.
We were talking about that with our spreadsheet, like when we're at Slice of Pflugerville, if we happen to meet a community member, grab their card, and so we're setting up a system to like have our digital Rolodex of like, okay, we met this person, put the information in, who's gonna touch point with them next, and meet with them and see how we can like continue to like do the face-to-face, go to the church, go to another meeting, a PTA meeting, whatever that looks like. So that's one of the things that we're implementing this year.
The schematic is there, trust me. When we passed the first bond, first school bond that was over $1 billion, it was like in 2017 cost analysis. We had over 22,000 touch points of, I'm not talking about just with social media, I'm talking about in person, getting feedback to get people to support this initiative, right? So there's infrastructure there, and I know that works. Because people, at the end of the day, people, relationships lead to results. Right? Building relationship is gonna, like, no matter what side you're on, is like, can we talk to each other and have a conversation on why this or why not? But it's also supporting, like, hey, why do we need to support this? Because it's food, right? And we want to make this the best place where quality meets life. So that's the end game, that's the end goal. We're building our infrastructure for that, right? So give us some time, and I promise that we have this conversation, I hope we have this conversation next year. It's going to be something that I think you're going to be like, wow, in terms of the amount of digital engagement and the amount of in-person touch point, it's going to be hopefully around the same. That's my goal in terms of what we're trying to create here.
We call that our grassroots marketing.
And I'm going back to our minutes on March 11th. There were a couple of other things we had asked about for the listening sessions. On page 3, there were visuals. Any visuals that could be provided to help promote the listening session? Why are we doing this? I can do that, but I can't say what I'm trying to say. Like cardboards or
Graphics,
something that we can
posters.
hold that,
Posters.
that explains the importance of what is the Equity Commission, what are we doing? Just a canned set of visuals, which I think was one of the reasons, and it's on page 3, where we asked about visual support at the top. The other one was also, again, a visual that kind of helped highlight some important city services that generally people are not aware of. I kind of do sessions a lot, but I'm in history and I'm in tech. But when we go out to do something, we have a table set up with pictures, displays, even I think on this plan.
You do a gallery walk,
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of, we have an agenda and outline, and there were a couple of key points, but I don't even know, even just a big talking piece of this, especially if we're not going to be somewhere where we have a presentation to help facilitate the discussion.
Yep.
Having the right tools, if you will, to help us facilitate
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, we may need help with building those kind of assets.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it would be from, just even like this agenda outline on poster board. Why are we here? What is the Equity Commission?
Work
It's
on
relevant.
the toolkit.
Yeah.
The
So
toolkit.
you guys, so this is kind of like our agenda for tonight.
Mhm.
The handout I put on everybody's people.
Oh, see, I put all this.
Just to give you a visual example, I put some.
Here you go.
This is a bag, yeah, I was like,
But something like this where we can lay out
Uh-huh.
the information in a way that's also visually interesting, that's something that we can
Yeah.
provide
And
so
maybe,
that everybody.
a card with a QR code for you all, so when you're out in the community, other events, hey, did you know that we're doing a series of meetings where we want to hear from you? Here's a card, if you just scan that, It'll go to the website that has all of our meetings listed. We would love to see you at one of those.
Yeah.
Make it easy.
Yeah, I would love to have a takeaway from
Yeah.
like something physical that they could take and know how to contact the city or know how to get involved or
Yeah.
just anything that would promote their civic engagement. They're engaging one time, so they're primed to engage again. So
Yeah. If you all want to give us proposed text, we can do the creative on
Okay.
it. There you go.
We'll get together.
Okay,
Yeah, well,
sounds good.
this is what we're agreeing,
Yep.
taking action on tonight. So we've been talking about this for all 3 meetings. I would
Yep.
think we would be.
We
able
work with
to
Brianna quite a bit.
Yeah,
so
yeah, so she'll get it to you, but we've been on
Yeah.
this for 3 meetings. But again, something with this, but something that talks about, the purpose, since the commission is new, 2019? And something that's also, just laying out some key services that are available in the city that would, maybe citizens are not utilizing, that would be valuable to them. It's always gonna be the what's in it for me kind of conversation, right?
resources.
Yep, they're gonna wanna know, okay, well,
Yeah.
come out.
And especially with my cohort where they're, people in need, they may be volunteers, they may need some extra, like, I have a whole book of every charity in town if you guys need it, but, so yeah, something like that too, it's good.
that's what we do. Yep.
Top of page 3 and bottom of page 3, I think is, I'm guessing that's how we got here. So thanks in advance, Ms. Brianna, for
Providing
taking.
Yep. She's already got us going on it. Yep.
All right. Anything else? Good. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks, y'all.
Thank you, guys.
Did we answer all your questions? Great.
You can always call us at any time too. Just call the PIO line, it'll always be. It'll either be flip or I, so if you have any personal questions, feel free to.
Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thanks, y'all.
And
Enjoy the
thank you
swag.
for the swag. It's appreciate
We
it.
have one for you.
Oh, this is for Katrina.
Yeah.
And then we have one more, I don't know, we took
We're
one
missing
for the member
another
that's
one.
not here.
I got one for
But here's an
Okay.
extra one if you want to have, like, I don't know, your
Save it for
nonprofits
her.
or whatever.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I can give it to them.
Unless we
All
save
right,
it.
thanks again.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
Yeah, thank y'all. Have a great evening.
Now the fun's really gonna start.
Yeah. Well, I always think about, we do almost 57 public meetings alone a year that are recorded and archived. So that in itself is an amazing feat that communications does.
Yeah.
Because this is one of various meetings that we shoot available to the public. So thanks to Nathan and Wade, and it takes a small, army to be able to pull that off. So,
Yeah.
yeah, thanks, y'all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
All right, moving on to 4B. This was discussion regarding voter registration and participation. And I know I brought that topic up originally, and Dr. Miller, did you want to add something specifically, or I can jump in with my list, because I know we had talked about.
No, I just, for me, just kind of a big issue in general is people don't vote. They're not engaged. And
I don't know if you guys are aware, but here at the library, we do have voter registration every Tuesday and Saturday right now. We are a polling place in November also. When we get closer to the deadline for voter registration for the election, I have staff who are voter registrars, and they speak Vietnamese and Spanish, and they will be here.
Cool. That is
Yeah.
amazing. I think the idea originally was, are there more opportunities to meet people where they are, so to speak,
Yeah.
at city events,
Yeah.
where the city would invite voter registrars, there is a coordinator at the county office who is currently working to engage any group that will open their doors for voter registration. So in my mind, these additional opportunities beyond the wonderful work that's happening at the library, and to meet people where they are, would be at the bigger Pflugerville events.
Yeah.
There's one coming up this
Slice of
month,
Pflugerville.
Slice of Pflugerville would be a great opportunity.
Mhm.
And I want to be clear, like, one, to be a voter registrar, deputy registrar in Travis County, which is where Pflugerville is mostly, any organization that opens doors to them sets the rules as to whether you want to have a VDR on site that's nonpartisan. So not affiliated with, or holding themselves out to represent any particular party. And by virtue of the rules of being a deputy registrar with the county, you're obligated to register anyone that wants to register. So the city sets the rules that it wants it to be nonpartisan, and the county sets the rules that you're obligated to register anyone that expresses the desire to register, assuming they're eligible to register, right? There's rules in that too. So that was the idea, right? Like, why can't there be a table from the Travis County voter registration office at Slice of Pflugerville, for example, to do voter registration? And that was one. I think we had talked about like what other events. So there's music in the park. So those are other, again, meeting people where they are out in the community. I believe there's 4 dates.
Please. The library will close in 30 minutes.
That's okay.
So there's 4
Director will
dates,
come
right?
down in 15
May,
minutes.
June, September, and
To avoid
October,
losing your
I
work,
believe,
please
or
bring
music
or
in the
email it
park.
now. Thank you.
So is it more of a, along those lines, in order to kind of ensure it happens, is it a recommendation for city-sponsored events in order to meet people where they are, that there be some type of voter registration area designated?
Yes.
Is that what you're?
That would be my recommendation to city council, and I mean, I would push for Slice of Pflugerville. I would push for, if it's not all 4 dates of music in the park, and we do too, and not we, but can the city do too? There's a National Voter Registration Day on September 19th. Like, can that be an opportunity? And I think the library already maybe does something on voter registration day, if I recall correctly, so.
Yeah, but I guess I even wondered, back to the communications, is that widely known?
Right, like obviously if
Given that
there's,
people are not civically
Yeah.
engaged.
if
and-
there's a table, if there's a designated booth at Slice of Pflugerville by Travis County, by the League of Women Voters, whatever nonpartisan, right? It's not the Democratic Party, it's not the Republican Party, it's just a group.
Well, they can't actually
That it's a
register.
group about voter registration, like, why can't it be a booth? Then it'll get more promotion as part of that, I imagine. And they can also have more visuals to show, like, this is the voter registration booth, right? Like, come. So that's
we
my
have-
recommendation.
Yeah, so we have it for discussion, all right? So
Yeah, it is for
do
discussion.
we need to put it for action for next meeting? Because I think it's a great idea and I think it's important.
I think it is too.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure it's understood, like, that it's nonpartisan.
Yeah.
If there's any
Yeah, it has to be
concern.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but I think that's you know.
There should be no pressure for me to
Even
either
like
side.
poll watchers, you can register, but you know, they have rules and the training to register. There's
You're a
rules
registrar.
that people have
I'm
to
a
like guide
registrar.
by.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Right.
could even do it, but I'm not, it doesn't matter to me who does it. As
Well,
long
no,
as it
it's-
is nonpartisan, and I get that would probably be the city's conditions, which makes total sense.
Yeah.
But I also want it to be understood that if you're a registrar, you're obligated to register anyone too. So it's not like
Right.
you can turn people away that are eligible to register and express a desire to register. And I also want to highlight, aside from registering voters, and particularly with the League of Women Voters, which I'm familiar with, it's also an opportunity to answer questions about the voting process, about where to go to get more information about voting. And again, if we use the League of Women Voters as an example, you know, they share where you can go for nonpartisan information to learn about candidates, to learn about what's on the ballot, to pull up a sample ballot that applies to you, right? So a lot of times it's not only about registration, it's about voter education and empowerment in
Yeah.
general.
Yep.
They're late with the May 4th information. I was looking this weekend. It's not out there.
So then, for next week, my recommendation would be to have a recommendation written out that you guys would vote on.
It'd be
Okay.
good to identify all the events coming up before the election, like just to know. Like,
Brianna, you
Well,
look
but
like
if
you
we
want to
wanted
say
to
stuff.
be, I guess I don't think I don't hear
Yeah.
that you're saying just for this election year.
yeah.
No, it doesn't have to
Yeah,
be
so
for
I'm
this
saying,
election.
Oh, yeah.
I'm wondering if it should be for city-sponsored events.
Oh yeah, city-sponsored events. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, we have an election coming up, so people
Yeah.
want to get interested.
But if you think about it, there's always an election coming.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
So
Yeah, I think it can be ongoing. I
Yeah.
think it's a good beta test, like, you know, for this term. And then we keep, you know, adding to it.
I just want to clarify that voter registrars are able to be part of city events, so I don't want it to seem like they're not allowed to be there as long as they're non-party affiliated. So we have hosted them in the past if they've signed up to be a vendor at our events. I just wanted to put that clarifying
Cool.
part out as
So signing up to be a vendor, does that mean that there is a cost?
for nonprofits. I don't know typically off of the top of my head, depends on the event. But we have had voter registrars at past events.
Yeah, I've seen some on occasion. I think what we're recommending here is that there's always at least one maybe that the city is maybe waiving the vendor. If there's a vendor fee.
Yeah, I can find
Because
out.
there's a lot of, there's outside of even just the standard like you said, League of Women Voters, the registrars, there's Get Out the Vote. There's various community nonprofits who register people to be registrars so they can push this initiative and push voting. I'm old enough, when I was in school, that was a big part of the education, the importance of voting, and it seems that it's gone now. At least, I don't know what's created this apathy, but it was a big deal to walk to the library with your parents and go with them to vote. And now it's...
I can find out about whether or not that fee is waived for nonprofits. And get back with you
Well,
guys.
not all nonprofits, just the one that's going to do
You're like, we can narrow it.
Okay.
if we can, because then we can coordinate the way, in the manner that she's recommending, and not necessarily put extra work on the people that are just in the city. Hey, do you have somebody that can do this event with that county coordinator? And let people know City of Pflugerville has an event.
Okay.
And it's a good collaboration point with the county.
And they're new.
Hmm?
That the coordinator is new, so has a lot of good, new, fresh eyes and
Cool.
energy, and is looking for opportunities throughout Travis County. And why not Pflugerville? Why not in our
Right.
community?
So now when you say have a recommendation written up, are you saying we need to have something written or bring it written, or what do you?
I would, Brianna, weigh in. I would suggest that you have a draft personally, so that you have something concrete that you can work on during the next meeting and also vote on.
So
Okay.
I think, I was doing some side messaging to see if I could answer this while we were going. One, we'd I wasn't at that last meeting, Emily was. If we have the contact of who to reach out to, our parks team can coordinate and invite them to slice. And so if there's a contact that
Okay.
you have, and if you give
Yep.
that to us tonight, we can have our parks team reach out.
Okay. So
They're
they
even on
wouldn't
their
need to
own
do
little
a
sticky.
recommendation because
We
it'll
would
just
have our
work
parks
it
team
in?
reach out, yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why must it be with the city? What's magic about being parked with the city table?
We have, at our city events, we have dedicated booth space
Hmm.
for kind of city, we keep areas for city related, so we can provide information, so it slides a lot of information about downtown East being shared, things like that. So it would be with the city booth, it'd be near that area, that kind of, designated spot. Just so that way, especially with Slice being so close, and our vendor layout already finalized, in that instance, because it's a short notice for that,
Yeah,
it'd be with the city booth, I don't know what future events look like in that relation.
gotcha. All right, well, it would be great to have one at the Slice of Pflugerville, no matter where you park them, I suppose.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I will pass along, I have it on the sticky because I wrote it down before coming here, I have their name and email address.
Okay.
And should we assign someone to provide the draft next time? Just like see if you
I think that she was saying that you don't need to do
Okay.
a recommendation because we're
Okay.
gonna just work it
Okay,
in.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but
Well,
I think
that's
the
just
whole
Slice,
point,
or
that was
the-
the whole point of bringing it up, is for a commission action, wasn't it?
Well, we don't have it for action.
No,
on
I'm
the
talking about for
agenda,
the
right?
It would
next
be on the
meeting.
next meeting.
Not to say you won't do it, but just to ensure that it's,
Yeah.
it's noted that that
Yeah,
is a
I'll-
recommended action, I guess is.
Yeah, just to formalize it,
Okay.
we'll do that.
I do recommend having, like Jennifer said, a draft, so that way edits are easily
Mhm.
made instead of trying to come up with that at the meeting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
So I would send a draft to you,
Um,
but I couldn't share it with them?
You can send it to me and I can send it to them.
Okay,
Yeah.
Cool.
You just can't talk amongst yourselves via email or phone or anything like
Right.
that about that particular item
right.
until the meeting. You can throw whatever suggestions you want to at me and I can share those out.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you. All right, gosh, we're going over. Well, I don't know if we're going over, but we're going on. 5A is discuss,
I have one, on that note, I know when we took the class, it said we could get a hard copy of those rules, the class that we had to take for,
PF 101?
no, not the PF 101, the one we had to take in the appointment that talked about, the various conflict of interest and rules. And
The
when we
Open
could
Meetings
meet,
Act?
I'll find it.
Okay.
The Opens Media Act?
Huh?
The Opens Media Act video?
No,
Those
I
things
guess
are-
again, it may be, it's a class at the Secretary of State we had to take in order to finalize acceptance of our positions. I guess I just want more clarity and make sure that I have a hard copy of that. I think it was offered at our first session. The thing we had to send the certificate on. Because that's what you're referencing when you're saying we can't.
Discuss among ourselves.
The it's Open Meeting Act, where you can't have a quorum of a governmental body making decisions outside of an open meeting. And for it to be considered an open meeting, it has to be posted the agenda has to be posted within 72 hours of the actual meeting. So, it can be construed that if you are having conversations about a meeting or agenda item over email or over phone, that could be seen as a meeting if you are a quorum. And unfortunately, the group's so small that it's really easy to get a quorum. So it's an Open Meeting Act, and I'd be happy to send it to you. I can also reach out to Trista and ask her what document she was referring to, and I can send it.
No, it is. I'm looking at the training and the certificate we had to send in. I just remember them saying that if we wanted a copy, we could get that. Just to make sure, number one, I understand it fully. Did the training, took the certificate, but I don't know. It just is. It's going to be hard to collaborate. And I don't think we make decisions. We make recommendations. Decisions are made at the council level, right? I mean, we have no.
I don't think they can, though, as I know the library board can't. They can't meet.
It would be a violation of open.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to just get a hard copy of it.
Yeah,
And if we
I
can
can
get
send that
one,
out to you,
I
no
don't know if
problem.
it'll be, this, I'll be frank, I question that. Because again, we have no budgetary authority. And we only make recommendations for consideration by the council. And so that just seems a little bit rigorous and more rigorous than what needs to be for us to be able to get recommendations. And so being able to see that, and it may be helpful for others. Because I've worked in state government for 30 years. I worked for the Legislative Budget Board at the state level, and worked in higher education at institutions. And I mean, once you cut off the ability of, what's essentially a task force to collaborate, it just takes longer. And so,
We can have.
and then the thing about it is, I also remember, and again, I recognize I'm a little hard of hearing. The other thing about it is, I thought it was more about making sure we didn't do it on personal emails, the way that I understood it, and admitting that, again, I could be wrong about that. But as long as we're not on personal email and keeping one of you out of the loop, like if we email and we have a thread that's going on, even this draft, if you're on that thread, it comes up through the public information and it's in your email. And so that's the importance. So it would be one thing if we communicate without you copied on it, but if we're communicating and it's for this meeting and you're on it, it is within the realm of being accessible to the public.
I would need to have Trista reach out to be able to answer all the questions about the Open Meetings Act, but I'd be happy to have her do that.
Yeah, and to get a hard copy. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's something that we should have, is kind of like Robert's Rules of Order, right? For this
May I have
purpose.
your attention, please?
Huh?
Library will close in 15 minutes.
The library,
Yeah.
not us.
But I mean, because that'll help us move things along, because
Your new library
I mean,
card.
my emails are on a
You are-
retention
please call
schedule
now. Thank you.
based on what I communicate on, and I have to do NDAs for everything that I do in my job. And so I do the NDA, we all know what we can and can't do, but it doesn't say, we're not dealing with money in this group.
All right, thank you. Discuss and consider possible action regarding listening sessions in languages other than English. Brianna.
I would recommend opening both items, just so we don't have to just stick to one part of the listening session. So there's another item that's just
on the
listening
next
sessions
page.
in general.
5A and 5B.
So I recommend opening 5A and 5B at the same time.
Do it.
Yeah, go for
Do we
it.
need a vote?
Just that way, there's not a weird pause in between
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
conversation.
Same topic.
So you have a copy of the outline. Nothing's changed from it from the last time.
Actually, we did make some changes. We asked for and discussed the recordings.
Yep.
Yeah, so is that added?
So that's not in here because so the meetings will be, we'll have notes at the meetings. We will not record the meetings. I understand.
And is there a reason why? We did discuss that as well at March 11th. I actually went to the city site, and the city site does have a statement on it that all city activities can be recorded, and there is no, anybody participating in anything with the city is given their right to be recorded. So why can it not be recorded?
So it's recommended that it's not recorded. One, because as mentioned before, we want our participants to feel as comfortable as possible. Secondly, if recording the event, it is open to the Public Information Act. Part of the concern is that you will have audio taken out of context. Individuals won't know who said what. They won't know if it was a staff member, if it was a resident. That information could be completely taken out of context. And
Where did this
shared-
recommendation come from?
Me, the planner of the
Okay,
planning
and
document.
then,
Yeah.
so, as the planner,
Yeah.
if the commission is asking, because I mean, we talked about this extensively. I've participated in other initiatives of this nature. And if you go back to the minutes, that was something we discussed.
I understand.
That we wanted to have these recorded and have the notes. So, it does not disrupt anything to have the recording and getting an accurate transcription.
If the commission would like to take action and vote on if you'd like to have the sessions recorded, you are welcome to do so.
I motion, let me make sure that, because I want to say it's in the meetings.
You could have discussed it. Unfortunately, I missed that meeting.
Yeah, that was
I was
Yeah.
out.
Well, I motioned
I
that-
did get I got brought up to speed on what was discussed, but if you'd welcome to take it action.
Do you know, I remember getting a debrief or attending a presentation from someone who facilitated a similar session in another community. I don't remember the community, but it was like north.
El Paso.
No, it was in North Texas.
City of Plant.
Do you know what their practice was? I'm curious, not that I want to do what they did, but did they record?
My understanding is that they didn't record. I could reach out and ask for clarification and get an exact answer, but it's my understanding that they didn't.
Gotcha.
I think two of us went to the city of Austin's and they did record their sessions. Not that that's the reason why I want to record. It's more or less being able to get a transcript of everything that's said, making sure that nothing is missed. And it's a form of qualitative research. When you are dealing with open-ended questions and you're asking people to give their feedback, the proper way to analyze that information is to fully transcribe it, anonymize the people in your transcription, which it will be because we won't be asking them to collect their names other than maybe a sign-in sheet. And then you go through and look for sentiments that are good and bad, and then check to see with those sentiments that you identify what is the theme, and then go from that thematic analysis to make your recommendation. So, I mean, we're in a digital age. It actually creates a better opportunity for us to do a more accurate transcription. And I did leave the meeting and find on the city site
And we can vote on that, right? So
Huh?
we can vote on that. So
yeah,
we
so
could amend that.
okay, but it's a standard language on the site for
Yep.
city meetings. So I motion that we record the listening sessions so that we can have a complete transcript of the discussion for analysis. No comment?
Oh, I'm a no.
You can second it and then you can vote as a
Okay.
No,
commission.
he's,
Okay.
Yeah,
I second it.
and then you can do a vote now.
Okay.
In favor?
You in favor?
I'm in favor.
Okay. I say no. It's okay. I can be overruled.
Okay. That's not something that has to be added into this document. We'll just plan to have it recorded. I can add a note in there if that's preferred, but there's not necessarily a spot for it. But we'll make sure that we have those meetings recorded, and we'll get the ability to do so. So when I was here last time, this was the last slide I had of like preparing for April. I obviously missed March. But I can't even remember why now at this point, why I missed March. I wish I could tell you why I wasn't there, but I can't. So we had review on the planning document, work on location, date, and times for your selected month, and then prepare to invite neighbors and the community to listening sessions. I know from last time there were discussions about having an introduction speech created, a script created, this kind of talked about. I know last time it wasn't finalized. I didn't know if this time we had one.
I have one.
You have one?
Yeah, that I wrote up. I didn't get to send it out. I sent it earlier, but I do have one.
Okay.
If we don't have to motion for it or anything, but it's here. So I made 5 copies.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to be a little like open about why we're there, what we're doing, and how to, respectful dialogue, time considerations, active listening, things like that. And it's really short, quite honestly. So I can submit that. We don't have to motion on it today. I think we might need some time to digest it. But
And is it an optional intro speech
Yeah,
that you were sharing of what you were gonna do, or?
I think so. I'm just trying to prepare because I'm the first one. So I want to make sure that I have at least something to say. Because these are just little bullet points right now. So, but I think it could evolve, I think, over the course of time. We may want to do like a review each time we have one of these sessions, like in the next equity meeting, like how did that go? What could we do differently? What can we do better? So I think it's an evolution.
Did you want us to provide those to the comms team to help? I know previously we've talked about just having a script that you didn't have to stick to it, but that way everyone was genuinely beginning the session with the same information shared. Do you want us to provide that to the comms team to help work with it, or trying to just share your bullet points with everyone and go from there?
What do y'all think?
I think I'd like to see it.
Yeah, of course you. I think everybody would like to see it before we send it along to comms.
Yeah.
It's too official for that, but I just wanted to make sure we have something written down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I took a stab at it.
Yeah, I mean, on the purpose for me is, what is the Equity Commission? Why are we doing this? And what's the purpose of that listening session? Then, as we discussed earlier, the visual, the questions. We have a set of questions that are here.
And we do
That
ask
we
you
wanna
to
do
stick to those
consistently.
questions.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. We do want you to stick to those questions. You can have follow-up questions, but do make sure that those questions
That's why
are
I want them
asked.
on the visual.
Yeah.
Because that way they're right there.
Yeah, keeps people focused.
Those
You
are the
know,
questions.
I mean, because they have 15 minutes to follow up, but according to, what we have here in this document that we've been looking at, all of the meetings that I've been on the commission, short time, the questions, we've only added one.
Yep.
So it would seem that definitely a key visual would be this list of questions.
Yeah, I definitely think the comms should be aware of that.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a handout or in a visual. So just keep people on topic because it might go off the rails.
Awesome.
And here's my draft if you want to read.
So on the
You don't
timeline,
have to like it. It's just a stab in the dark.
on the
Well,
timeline,
questions?
we are currently in April. Yes, we're in April. I'm getting my months all mixed up. And we have for April to finalize location, times, and market to the community. And then in May, kicking off the listening tour sessions. October, having a staff summarize findings. And then November, presenting those findings and identifying action items. So listening tour dates, the request is that we would have the listening tour dates finalized with the date, time, and location today. I understand there's a possibility that they are not finalized today.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it by end of week.
Okay, yeah, I would say Friday's probably our deadline,
Yeah.
because that would give us
I tried to
about-
push it, but she didn't give me an answer.
I understand. So Corey, I'll have a reminder, check in at the end of the week
Uh-huh.
for the May dates.
And I can
Um,
just email you, I'll just email Jennifer,
Yeah.
and let you know.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, she's supposed to text me today, so
Okay.
it was.
So is that end of the week for all of them?
We would like to have them done, have all of the dates, so that way our comms team can create a flyer that has
Yeah.
all of the dates on them,
Okay.
has Facebook posts, they do Facebook events as well, so that way those can get pushed out. Does anyone have any dates finalized they can share today?
I have open requests that I've sent.
I'm hoping I'll have them by the end of the week as well.
Yeah.
In fact, the person I was waiting to respond actually responded today, so.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm gonna go out to coffee with this girl. She'll respond.
I'll reach out to Katrina and see.
Okay, so we'll have a check-in at the end of the week. If really the goal is to have them finalized at the end of the week, I would say the absolute latest, pulling up a calendar so I don't give you the wrong date, would be the 19th. Just so that comms can have at least 2 weeks before. I'm assuming, Corey, it's not going to be May 1st, 2nd, or 3rd.
No, I'm trying to give me a little space.
So that way they have at least 2 weeks to get that pushed out for May, and then June and July, August and September can have a heavier push. So I would say April 19th, the absolute kind of last deadline.
Great.
Okay. So preparing for May. Other than finalizing our dates, times, and locations, I will be working with the comms team to make sure we have the signage and visuals as requested, to have our flyers and social pushes. We'll encourage our staff as they talk with residents to share about the listening tours as well. As mentioned before, it's encouraged that you invite at least 2 people to every listening session. Specifically your listening session, but it'd be great if you invited others that aren't your listening session, invite 2 people. If all of you invite 2 and all of them show up, that's at least 6 people, and that's 6 people we can get some information from. I do encourage practice facilitating. Maybe I like to practice my speeches driving. That's just, I talk to myself in my car. But maybe practice facilitating with friends, family, just that way when you're asking the questions, there's a natural flow to it. You feel comfortable with those questions. Try to think of some what ifs. What if someone says something, the most outrageous thing you've ever heard? How do you think you might handle that? Or maybe they said something that might spark a follow-up question, things like that. Just those what ifs. That way, when that thing happens, you're not totally shocked by it in the meeting. Keep in contact with your space contacts. That one's probably more obvious than I needed to put on a slide, but just that way they know, don't forget, I'm coming. And then reach out with any questions. We'll work on making sure that we have those meetings recorded. They will just be audio recorded. The motion was just an audio recording,
Right.
not a video recording.
Correct.
Okay, just want to make sure I have that clarified. I've asked comms not to come and take pictures because, again, that anonymity would kind of go away with that. Is there anything else that I missed that we did not discuss, that you wanted to discuss?
The language thing?
Yeah, well, I missed that last meeting, so I don't know what it is exactly you'd like to discuss about the language.
If we could have a session in Spanish and possibly Vietnamese, or at least
So-
Spanish. Did we talk about Vietnamese, or did I imagine that? We did. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did.
I do remember that from when I was here in February. I certainly, in being honest, I think it's easier for us to get Spanish, a listening session in Spanish, than it is for us to get Vietnamese. I know we have staff contacts. The conflict with that is identifying someone who can be there to facilitate while also having someone that can be there to take notes at the same time. So if you do want one that is specifically in Spanish and in Vietnamese, I would recommend that you select a date and you pick that date, and I know as soon as possible, April 19th. And if I don't know at April 19th, then I don't think I can make it happen. One, because of pushing it to comms, but two, making sure I have people that can be there. My recommendation is starting off with Spanish. And because this is the first time we've ever done this, we don't know how it's going to go. And
I do agree. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no,
Yeah, I mean, we have a significant Tejano, Spanish, whatever you want to, so many different descriptors. And maybe I'm probably thinking, and I am, no probably about it. I just attended, some things with the Texas Historical Commission. And we have a history in this state of muting those voices. And I think it's important to really advertise, especially to the Spanish population, and say that there's going to be a session in Spanish, and be able to allow for people to communicate that through their channels. It would really be, just wouldn't, that's who we are, that's Texas. I mean, that's a part of us. Why would we mute that voice and not make sure that it could be heard? And again, Vietnamese is a large one. It would be difficult. Maybe we put it at the end, but we don't know if we don't try. And sometimes that's the way that the voices do get muted, is by not putting forth adequate effort to make sure that those voices are heard.
well, also, again, it was back in February when I mentioned it. We will make sure that we have a survey of the questions, but that will be released after the listening sessions. We don't want people to say they'll just take the survey instead of showing up, so we'll wait till the listening sessions are complete before we push out that survey, and then we'll make sure that we have those options in the three languages.
So do we need to make a motion to say that we're gonna have one in Spanish?
I just need to know by April 19th what date will be in what language.
Do we
Okay.
think? Do we
So
think
if I
we-
can get a date by the 19th for both Spanish and Vietnamese, that's the goal. Like, that's the deadline.
Yeah.
And if that
Yeah.
doesn't happen, then we're likely not going to have.
And at least one of those sessions would be offered in that language.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
and I mean, but if we go ahead and make that, what if we target the August session to be the Spanish session? I mean, that's enough lead time on the date.
Likely, but I need to talk with my venue person.
Yeah, but we can target it. We can always
Yeah, yeah.
adjust.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm targeting one of my three, or two of my three.
Yeah, that's why I said August, because that's one of yours.
Yeah, I'm targeting to have, if possible, one of those three in Spanish and one of those three in Vietnamese. But I understand my deadline is no later than the 19th.
Just that way, because a lot of these sessions do happen during the summer months, I just want to make sure that our staff that would be available
Yeah,
have enough leeway to know, hey, maybe don't go out of town that day so that you can be here. So I just want to make sure our staff has enough time
yeah,
to
absolutely.
plan ahead.
No, I get it.
Yep.
I'm
I mean,
out
and that's
quite a bit in
understandable.
June, so I'm worried too,
Yeah.
but I know what week in June is my window, so.
And I know I have a blackout in August, the first weekend of August, so I can tell you when it won't be for me.
Can we ask, I mean, it's a public meeting, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna hear back from one of the homeowners associations I reached out to, so I had another church in mind. I know, Dr. Miller, you talked about a church as well, so I don't want to duplicate. I'm curious.
Yeah, Victory,
Okay,
and then St. Mary's, but Victory and St. Mary's, and then there is a social media group in Pflugerville. I reached out to see through there.
okay.
So those are the two churches and just the community in general.
Mine is St. Elizabeth's, which I'm a parishioner at, so conveniently I have a connection. But I thought about, I believe it's called Abundant Life.
Abundant Life, yeah, that's I know that church, the Shard Freeman. Yeah, St. Mary's has actually been here longer. I would still communicate it to all of the ones in the area. Just kind of how that works with, at least within the Baptist churches, we have an association of Baptist, missionary Baptist churches that has been in Travis County for more than 150 years. So would ask St. Mary's to be the site as the oldest church, and then invite the others with parishioners
Gotcha.
here, because a lot of people live.
I just had a quick question. What about reaching out to some of the religious groups that are not Christians?
Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely.
That's good suggestion.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And I only brought up, because the challenge is like, it's a lot easier if we have some connection, right? That's the whole point of us being the coordinators, right?
Yeah.
It's hopefully a lot easier to get a response. And I've been to an event at that site, which is why I thought of it as another alternative. But thank you for pointing that out. We don't have to
I
limit
actually
ourselves.
spoke with an Asian Indian, work in IT. We have a lot of people that work, so I have a connection. He said to communicate through WhatsApp. So as soon as I give the dates, he's gonna communicate it within that community for me. So that's my tentative, my September. So I would imagine Hindus. So yeah, I've communicated, as I work with, tech is just some of everybody of everything. So I reached out to that group of
Okay.
folks that I know. I even asked the folks in the nail salon about the Vietnamese population.
Yeah.
So
I do have a nail appointment coming
yeah,
up.
so, how could we,
Ask.
what would be a way to connect into that community? Mind you, I speak no Vietnamese, I speak no Spanish, and I speak no Hindu languages. But, it's for me, it's just one of those things, making sure that all voices are heard.
I mean, for anyone watching our meeting and is interested in hosting us, since we're looking, they can reach out to Jennifer. Who
Maybe
would they
that's
reach out to?
something, not for this group, but the next sessions, that we could have the comms team
Yeah.
help with.
And we could do it the next go around, and then that way you could be like, Bia, we've done it once before, Bia, host it again.
And it would really, be good to have a really, a diversity of ethnicities represented at each session. So I tend to use the social media and friends and reach out that way. But yeah, I didn't, definitely was thinking about long-term residents. I even reached out to the folks at the historic house, the one that the
Heritage
library
House?
oversees.
Yes.
Yeah, I reached out to them about even using that location as a site. Again, having grown up in the area and being native, to Austin and area and researching it, the Pflugers own the area in East Austin. And so that land when they, in order to move out here. So I found that interesting.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And just the overall, from here to there, just even just German settlements and why did they move out from major cities was because just because of everything was set up for Protestant whites, males. That was it. That's how government was initially set up. So if you were anything other than that small group, you were underrepresented in how government operated. So, and Germans weren't in that group. But anyway.
All right, are we good then, I think? As far as next steps?
All right. Yep. So if you get those dates and locations over to Jennifer by April 19th, Claudia, the dates of any sessions you want in Spanish or Vietnamese, that date as well. We'll work on getting the tech to audio record the sessions. Can't promise it'll be the highest of quality of audio, but we'll do our best with the equipment we have. Nathan knows the equipment we have, so we'll find out. In the meantime, comms will work on their plan to push this out. Having those dates will help us push it out even better, but they're working on their plan. We'll have the signage as requested. And then I can't promise that there's a meeting before the next listening tour, because there's the first listening session. So if we don't see each other before the first one, we'll make sure that those bullet points of what you want covered are covered in the meantime. If you have any questions, please reach out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that was the last item on the agenda. I think we can adjourn.
Awesome.
Awesome.